and common sense collide. Starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto.
Crypto fam, it's your boy CryptoKeeper, and as always, CryptoKeeper. Since Miguel and I like to both show up within the live stream, Miguel just likes to feel what it's like to be CryptoKeeper for just for a minute. I mean,
I just like to give you hope that you got fans out there somewhere.
That's right. That's right.
I want to pretend to be you.
That's one of the things I really like about you. Continue to give me hope, people like me. So thank you. But fam, if nobody, if you're in the chat, just make sure that you smash up the like. We would appreciate that. And yeah, you know what, Miguel, I'm so used to telling people to remind them that we have this big giveaway going on. Since we did the giveaway, we've got to figure out we got to figure out another something. So
the chat, there's definitely gonna be something coming up sometime soon. Yeah. So we'll figure something out.
Drop into the chat if you have an idea for for a new giveaway idea that you guys think that you would like, that would incentivize people to just to join the Debate Crypto fam. So we appreciate each and every one of you. Miguel, what's on the podium today?
SOS token. If you haven't heard about it, you're gonna hear about it today. And we're just gonna have to do an overview of the market, right? Bitcoin's down right now. Things are looking a little sketchy. I think it was something like $80 billion in the last 24 hours exited the market. So we're going to be covering that stuff.
Yeah, let's actually jump right into it. Let's look at Bitcoin specifically here real quick. All right. So Bitcoin, the bitter coin. We ultimately are sitting at about 47.9 right now. Here's the thing that I want to kind of tell everybody in just simplified format. We had this huge dump here on December 4th, right? This was the one that wicked down to like 41 or whatever and then came right back up. So that's been almost a month now. What's that been? 25 days. I think today's the 28th or something like that, 24 days. And so since then, if you look closely, the candle bodies have not really gone past, 57, maybe 50,800. And we've just been ranging. We have been ranging between 46 and 51, if you will. We've got a few wicks high and a few wicks low. But the reality is this is a good thing. When we talk about this quite a bit, when we just absolutely blast off, the problem with the blast offs is that it turns back around and it absolutely dumps hard. And so what I would like to say, and just to remind everyone, is that these accumulation phases, the fact that we are accumulating and that we're seeing some on-chain metrics that say that the whales are accumulating at this stage of the game, tells me that they believe that we still have a run to go. Because if not, I don't understand why they would be doing it. Now, it could be a run. They could be buying for, 10 years from now, whatever. But the reality is they do have these whales and institutions, especially the institutions, have a, what's the word I'm looking for? They have a responsibility and they have to answer to their clients, right? And they have to take profits. We are at the end of the year. I think that's one of the take profit things that we're seeing. And the second is you just need to remember that if they are accumulating like this, it's because they are planning on this going higher. So just want to remind everybody, keep your cool. Don't get stressed about it. It is going to be okay. Yeah, we've got a 7% drop today, I think, something like that, over in the overall market. Guys,
and it's the end of the month too, right? It's the end of the month. That always kind of happens, right, with the futures contracts expiring. It's also the end of the year, so that even compounds the effect even more. People might be taking profits for tax purposes, getting ready for tax season that's coming up, right? They might be pulling out some profits for that reason to be able to pay the taxes that they're going to owe. So
yeah,
could be a lot of different reasons why this is happening, but it's always, I believe, short-lived. Don't let the fear get to you.
Yeah, definitely, guys. The reality is that when these prices drop like this, there is generally a reason behind it, and this is just not a deal. This is a nothing burger, as people would say. It is ultimately just part of being invested in crypto. If you can't be okay with 7%, 10%, 15, 20% swings, then, crypto might not be the place for you. And I get it. Especially when I first got in, I think, Miguel, you can resonate with this. When I first got in, I had been in stocks long enough that when I very, very first got in and I saw these price swings, I was like, oh
Yep.
my, I was strapping in my freaking seatbelt. Like, what are we doing here? This is chaotic. It's crazy. And I'll just give you guys a little encouragement. As you get farther and farther into this, it will start to become the norm, and you'll start to just
Yep. My first
woosah.
mistake in crypto ever was not buying Bitcoin at $600 because I had a 50% retracement from $1,200. I saw that and I was like, 50% down. Oh, I'm not
Yep.
getting into this thing anytime soon.
Yeah.
And I did it. And that was literally the biggest mistake I had
I
ever
was
made.
about to say, and that's the problem is that human nature says that you buy something or get involved with something when things are positive. So you're thinking, okay, let's look at it as a business. If
I'm
you're
gonna wait
getting
for the run
involved
up.
in if you're getting involved in a business, you want to know, especially if you're putting in like venture capital, you want to know, hey, I believe in this business and it's starting to do something. Well, it's a little bit different than that. We want you to believe, and you need to believe in Bitcoin, ETH, whatever it is that you're investing in. But the best time to buy, if you believe in those assets, are when we have big red candles. It's hard to do, but it is what will lower your entry point. I will tell you, I'm in a 5x leverage long still on ETH, and I was up, I don't even know, 28%, something like that. And now I'm actually down because of this, this move. But let me just tell you, I'm going to look at the charts after we get off here on Femex. If you guys
Yep.
are looking to trade on Femex, we've got a code in the links below. But I'm gonna check out the charts when I get off here, and ultimately, I'm not going to be pulling out of that position. I'm going to be doubling down. I'm going to be adding to the position, and so ultimately, we are down further. So I'm going to get my cost basis even farther down. My original entry point was 39.02. If we're at 38.12 or whatever, and I double down, then basically, the halfway point between those two, which is about 38.45 or so, that will be my new cost basis and entry point. So that's what I think I will be
Hey
doing.
man, dollar cost average, right? That's the way to
Yep,
go. Even with
yep. Even
trading,
when
and
you're leverage
sometimes,
trading. Yep.
yeah, even when you're leverage trading, right, you can still do some dollar cost averaging. Obviously, we're not recommending leverage trading to anybody. You
Right.
could do spot trading as well on Femex, so you don't only have to do leverage trading. So don't think we're recommending you guys, especially if you're a beginner or a beginner in trading at all, to be
Yeah.
getting into leverage trading.
Yeah, and Sean, you're right. It is one of the most cliche things that you'll hear in crypto. It absolutely is, but it's also one of the most true things in
Yep,
crypto. It's not about timing the market because you won't ever do it. It's about time
exactly.
in the market, and I resonate with that a lot because, like Miguel said, if he wouldn't have been trying to time, if he would have just looked at it and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm just going to get in. It's down 50% right now, but I believe in it. I'm just going to get in." If he would have said that, he would have had a lot better entry point on the front
Oh
end, like
yeah,
a lot better entry point.
oh yeah, dude.
So I
Uh,
am, I'm with you for
Yeah,
sure.
man. And at the end of the day, even yesterday's last night's stream, for everyone who didn't catch it, right? Willy Woo is calling for 100K Bitcoin by the end of next year as the pretty much the average price for Bitcoin to be at.
What do you
Pretty
mean?
much
He's not.
call
He's thinking we're not going to have a bear market or what?
Not yet. He thinks that with the stock to flow market, that with the stock to flow chart, that basically it is like an anchor on Bitcoin's price, and by the end of next year, we should be somewhere at 100K minimum. Is pretty much what he's calling for. So
Really?
and then I saw another article that I covered in last night's stream as well about a fractal playing out, calling for a $333,000 Bitcoin, which also matches up with what Willy Woo is saying, right? If 100K is what the minimum that he's expecting for the end of next year, obviously we're going to
Yeah.
be a lot higher than that at some point throughout the year. And we talked about the price hikes happening, right? The rate hikes. I'm sorry. The rate hikes happening, if they get delayed for whatever reason, or they're not as high as they're expected to be, and things start to crumble, it's going to create this perfect storm for more inflation and more Bitcoin price action.
I think this next year is going to be really interesting, Miguel. As I have looked more and more at what's been going on and more at some of the metrics as to where these whales are accumulating, and they are
Yep.
accumulating right now, that tells me one thing, that long term they believe that they are getting a good entry point, because not everybody thinks like Robert or Michael Saylor, right?
Yeah.
Michael Saylor says, you know what, I'm buying at any point, right? Now,
Yeah.
he still tries to buy at good entry points, but he ultimately says, Bitcoin's going north of $1 million, so I'm buying. Not everybody has that sentiment, and the fact that there is a large majority of whales and institutions that are buying at these prices tells me we are headed in the right direction.
Guys, shoot a one in the chat right now if you're literally going to be accumulating some Bitcoin or any altcoins at all down through this dip. Let us know in the chat, guys. Drop a one in the chat if you are buying the dip.
I thought this was really funny real quick before we jump into this SOS thing. Arnie said, I don't even know if you remember these, Miguel, because you're probably too young, but they had do you remember these? You don't? Okay.
No.
So yeah, so they had these shirts, and it was a really popular line. It said, and literally all it said across the shirts was "No fear," right? And it literally, dude, you have to look it up. But ultimately, this was like the cool thing to wear. So I'm 37. I think, as I recall, the no fear trend was like probably around my 3rd to 5th grade. So probably,
Okay.
28 to 30 years ago, something like that. Like, it was a long time ago, right? It would have been you just being born or whatever.
Yeah,
And
pretty
so,
much.
but yeah, it was literally like this thing where, like, you can't be scared of any, like, no fear. Yeah. And that's ultimately, that's funny, Arnie, because, that's
That
kind of
reminds me
how
of
we need to,
that
kind of how we
reminds me
need to
of
be
a
right.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
That reminds me
Yep.
of Cobra Kai.
Absolutely. And I just want to take a quick second to say, Arnie, congratulations, dude. Arnie in the chat right now was
Yep.
the winner of the $500. And, Arnie, is from Canada. So, should we have sent him 500 Canadian? Well, no, we said 500 USD. So I think he was the
Yep.
benefactor for sure on that even more. But I just wanted to stop and say congratulations, Arnie. I'm really glad that worked out for you, man. So congrats. All right, let's jump into it. Here we go. So everything you need to know about OpenDAO's SOS token airdrop for OpenSea users. Pause. I apologize, guys. I'm super sick right now. So if you are wondering why my voice is all jacked up or if I start coughing or whatever, yeah. So just letting you guys know. SOS has surged more than 1,000% since its surprise Christmas Eve airdrop. I will tell you, Miguel, before I read this, one of the things that I was concerned about is that this was a surprise airdrop and it wasn't backed by OpenSea. It made me a little bit nervous. It really did.
Yeah.
But let's jump into it.
I
That's
agree
part
with
of the
that.
reason why I didn't get into it. In brief, SOS is an airdrop from OpenDAO distributed to people who have spent money on OpenSea transactions. The token is up more than 1,000% in just 2 days. The project isn't affiliated with OpenSea, but almost 200,000 wallets have claimed SOS tokens, and the contract has a market cap of over $200 million. On Christmas Eve, anyone who had ever spent money on OpenSea could claim free ETH token called SOS, and the amount of SOS they'd get was determined by how much money they had spent on NFTs on OpenSea. By Sunday, about 240,000 people had claimed the token, and it skyrocketed more than 1,000% in value. The tokens were not dropped by the popular NFT marketplace itself, but by OpenDAO, an independent decentralized autonomous organization, or a DAO, that pledges to use some of the tokens it earmarked for itself to compensate OpenSea users for scams and support the burgeoning NFT industry. Although the NFT space is saturated with airdrops and meme tokens, the drop for SOS blew up. On Christmas Day, it was the largest gainer on CoinMarketCap, with its price rising faster than even the sketchiest crap coin. So yeah, I don't know. Miguel, talk to me about what you thought about this when this first came out, because I was a little bit skeptical for
At
sure.
first, I was skeptical, right? I was like, wait a minute. What is this whole coin market cap, this whole drop, this surprise airdrop, if you're connected to, open seas, connect your wallet here. I honestly, at first, I thought it was going to be some type of rug pull, some type of scam where everybody connects their wallet, right? And they're connecting their wallet that's had the most transactions on open seas. So
Uh-huh.
I was like,
Yeah.
there's probably money on that wallet, right? and then you
Exactly what I
connect
thought.
it, and then it's gonna be like in a couple of days we find out everybody got jacked, right? And they lost all their money. Same thing we saw with all these like surprise NFT drops that people were getting, just random NFTs appearing in their wallet, and then next thing you know, they were messing around with it, and boom, it was gone. So
Yeah.
very skeptical. I still haven't done it myself. But I'm definitely keeping an eye on it, or with these open DAO, with these DAOs in general.
Yeah.
I'm bullish on some of them. I'm skeptical about others. Right? I feel like DAOs have now become the next thing. We had the NFT craze. Now we're having a big DAO craze. And it's kind of reminding me of 2017, where we had all these ICOs coming out left and right, promising all these things. We have all these DAOs
Yep.
coming out, promising all these crazy things. So definitely something to keep
Yeah.
an eye on. Could have tons of potential, right? It could prove to be completely legitimate and be an awesome thing and a good way to make some money back on all the money that
Yeah.
you spent on NFTs. But always
Right.
be on the caution side of things. Do not try to front run everything and be the first one there, because you'll probably be the first one to get slaughtered.
Yeah, the thing is with stuff like this is that it's all about risk tolerance, because if you are the quote first to the party and it goes well and it's not something scammy, you know what I mean? Like the Nancy Pelosi token or whatever that scam coin was.
You mean like BitConnect?
Yeah, like BitConnect.
The first
sure,
people that got into
sure.
BitConnect made a lot of money. I can tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. And so that the risk tolerance is just saying, hey, you know what? I'm not sure about this, but I would be willing to risk. You're essentially gambling on the front end, and you're saying I would be willing to risk this to see, to hopefully make some massive gains. And sometimes I'm risk averse enough. I don't like to do it. I will tell you, once I realized that I thought that this was going to be a legitimate thing, part of the reason I didn't get into it as well is because I just haven't spent that much on NFTs. So I was wondering, like, how much would I really, benefit from this? I think total on OpenSea, I think I've spent like $1,500. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy.
So does it
at
have
all.
to be?
So
So question is it only the NFTs you bought on OpenSeas? It doesn't matter if you bought the NFTs like somewhere else. Like we bought NFTs from Red Village, right? The Red Village
right.
game. We bought those NFTs, but we didn't buy it on OpenSeas. We minted it
Oh, that's
from
true.
their website.
From them.
So maybe it's only the money you spent on OpenSeas and not all the NFTs.
Oh, like actual. Yeah, you might be right. I don't know. Let me pull the article back up. Let me pull the article back up here. Hold on a second. Let me see if it gets into any farther than this. By Boxing Day, the token had risen to about 321 million. Discord at 50,000. The number of tokens you can claim depends on how much you've used OpenSea, the most popular marketplace for NFTs. The more you've traded on the platform, the more SOS tokens you can claim. To claim, head to their site, connect your cryptocurrency wallet, hit initiate claim. The site will then estimate your reward by working out how much DAI, ETH, or USDC you've spent on OpenSea. We didn't spend that on OpenSea, did we, Miguel?
No, we didn't. But I've spent some pretty penny on OpenSea, right? Buying H3D and buying some other NFTs here and there. I hope they're taking gas fees into consideration, because, dude, that would be amazing if it took gas fees into consideration. I paid so much in gas fees.
Yeah. This says you'd have to pay a gas fee on Ethereum to claim your tokens. The fee denominated in ETH will depend on how congested the network is, but there's no rush to claim. If you're eligible to claim, you have until June 30th of 2022. Unclaimed tokens will be sent to the DAO's treasury after that date. Once claimed, the tokens will be sent to your Ethereum address. If you connected with OpenDAO with MetaMask, you can add SOS token to your wallet by hitting the Add SOS button on the side of the page. So yeah, I think that it was a super interesting idea. One of the things that I actually had no idea was what was the thought process behind doing it. Sometimes I look at some of the opportunities, let's call them, and the things that are, getting airdropped, and I literally have to kind of step back and think like, okay, what's the opportunity here? What are they trying to achieve here? And on this one, I haven't thought too much into it, but I guess I'll ask you, Miguel, do you have any idea right off the bat why they're doing this? Like, because everybody is essentially, all these projects are their own little business, and they're in business to make money. So tell me why you think this is, why they did this.
So I think this is a huge marketing tactic, right? And it's a very good one at it too. They understand people have been on OpenSeas spending a lot of money on NFTs. They understand that. They understand some people have lost a lot of money. Some people have made a lot of money. Either way, you're going to be getting free money. And if they're giving away something for free, people are going to get all over it. So therefore, then come out content creators like you and me creating content about SOS, right? And everyone's been talking about SOS, TikTok,
Yeah,
and so forth.
that's
Been
true.
talking about SOS and a lot of attention on it. Sooner or later, they're going to announce, right? Not only is the token getting attention, but so is the DAO, right?
Right.
And then sooner or later they're going to announce some type of goal, some type of activity, something that the coin can do, something they're going to shoot for, and that's going to already have the attention of all these people that spent money on NFTs and now hold SOS. Like, yeah, I'm going to keep holding this thing long term, and probably keep telling more people to buy it because the market cap is still under $1 billion. Let's keep
Yeah.
buying, right? The price number is actually really low as well. So by price bias, a lot of people would be interested in buying it. And then you get all these people talking about if it goes to a penny, you're gonna be super duper rich.
Right.
And whether it goes into that scammy side of things eventually, or it goes into some kind of legitimate project at some point, it's already gotten a huge initial
Yeah.
attention on it. So
Yeah, that's a good point. I think these DAOs are so popular right now because people see the value in having their voice heard. So if you don't know what a DAO is, it's a decentralized autonomous organization. And let me actually hold on a second. Let me tell you like what the actual definition is here. Hold on a second. I'm going to explain it, but I want to give you the actual definition. Okay. Decentralized autonomous organization, sometimes called a DAO, is an organization represented by rules encoded as a computer program that is transparent, controlled by the organization members, and not influenced by a central government. So, literally, guys, all this is ultimately you are getting involved in something that you have a partial say in. You have voting rights. Your voice can be heard as to whatever it is that that the DAO is doing. For example, you can get involved as a group and have voting rights. There was the biggest one ever. Actually, didn't end up achieving what it wanted to, but they were buying the Constitution DAO. They were buying a copy of the U.S. Constitution, and it was, I don't remember the price, but it was lots of millions. I think it was like 100. It was a lot of millions of dollars, and the idea was that it's almost like crowdfunding. You get all of these different people together putting in some capital, but then they have say in what happens with whatever it is you got involved in.
can you
I think it's going
imagine
to do well.
Can you imagine if the government starts to run on a DAO in the future? Right, not right
Never
now.
happened.
Obviously, that's
Never.
not going to happen now. But I'm talking about 50 years from now or something like that. Maybe when people are more technologically advanced at some point, we're half cyborgs, right? We all have a chip from Elon in our head, and we're all being mind controlled. Imagine a DAO actually being, or some random country doing the experiment, right? Saying, "Hey, we're gonna run our country on a DAO. You guys are gonna have the voting rights." To obviously, you have to buy the token to be able to hold some of the DAO voting power, which helps up the economy because people are holding instead of spending, right? Giving more
Right.
value to the economy of that country, or the peso or dollar, the currency
Right.
of that
Whatever the
country.
currency is.
And then those people get to vote for their governors or their Congress people, right? And then those people are on a separate DAO, which then they choose who the president is and the laws that are starting to get passed. And then we have two DAOs voting into one bigger DAO for the laws and certain infrastructure things happening. And there's no BSing on that one, right? It's if you want something to happen, you better be holding a lot of that DAO token and putting your
Yeah.
voting rights to work.
It's a it's a very idealistic idea what you're talking about. I think that it will never end is because it truly does take the power out of that centralized authority, that central authority. And the
Mhm.
reality is that even if that was, that idea was put out there and people were like, okay, yeah, I'm in. I'd also understand that still the whales, still the big dogs, still the people with all the money are going to be able to have the most say. I mean, I don't know. I don't see a problem whatsoever with a society. I believe in capitalism, and I've seen it broken down where how socialism doesn't work, and essentially shows how, if the people that are working their butts off to make a certain amount of money are then no longer incentivized to work their butts off because everybody's going to make the same amount of money anyway, then those people all of a sudden say, well, heck with it. I'm not going to freaking do what, you know what I mean? This Joe Schmo is not doing anything. That person not doing anything is going to continue to not do anything because they're getting rewarded for it. And it basically breaks down and it ultimately causes turmoil between the people as well. So I think even in a DAO situation, I think that it is still a capitalistic idea because you are, at least in the normal state of a DAO, there's going to be people that are going to have more invested and therefore have more voting rights and whatnot.
So I agree, but I disagree at the same time. So this is where I disagree. Capitalism that is unchecked, like the level of capitalism that we run in this country, is just as dangerous as socialism. And the reason why I say that is because profit has gone above and beyond the benefit of the people, right? So corporations are running things. Corporations are buying out senators, congress people, presidents, whatever, right? The level of corruption that is happening with unchecked capitalism is that now we're not talking about what the nation's interests are. We're not talking about what the people's interests that are supposed to be represented by the nation are. We're talking about what are the corporations' interests and what gives them the next dollar that you're trying to make, right? So that's the biggest problem. It looks like we had Nick dropped off here. Oh, here we go. He's back.
Sorry about that. I had to reload. People said I was buffering, and it was not doing
Yeah,
what
you were buffering pretty bad.
Yeah.
So yes, what I was saying was unchecked capitalism, right, has led to corporations pretty much running this country, buying everybody out, and we're seeing what we're seeing with the fog around the world, right? We're seeing what we're seeing, and what is that? Corporate greed, right? It's all about unchecked capitalism, and I honestly I saw a video on TikTok about a Chinese, I think it was some type of Chinese person that was talking about the Chinese government. I don't know if they worked in the government or not, but they pretty much said how, yes, they are a dictatorship, but when it comes to the economy, they're not socialist. They don't put, they obviously have incentives to make as much money as possible in the economy. So they politically they control the country as a dictatorship, but when it comes to the economy, they're very kind of like capitalistic.
Capitalistic,
Capitalistic to it. So,
yeah.
Versus the United States, right? We're just capitalism, and the capitalism has fed into our political stance. Where now, literally, are buying out, governments. We're buying out the corporations that are running the show, and that's being led down a bad road.
Yeah, I agree with you. You're right. It's capitalism unchecked. It's capitalism saying, "Hey, I can use my capital to ultimately, have an impact in anything and everything I want." Again, not to get off into the weeds about this, I'm going to just say this very broadly. But the idea with the fog around the world, part of what's happened there as it relates to capitalism is that these companies didn't have to actually foot the bill to do any sort of research or whatever. That was all given out by our government, and they were still able to make $40 billion in the first year or whatever. That's crazy. They didn't have to do they didn't have to pay for the R&D. They didn't have to pay for any of the marketing, and they didn't have to pay for a sales force because it wasn't being sold. It was just being pushed out there. And check this out. I heard this yesterday, I think. A milestone for a big pharma company is to sell $1 billion worth of a product in the first year that it's actually to market, right? This has been just about $40 billion with the idea and the understanding that they didn't have to spend any money on the front end with it. So again, not trying to get off into what I'm saying is that money can absolutely corrupt anything. And I think that the idea that let's look at something a little bit different. Why should I be able to contribute to a campaign right? A large amount of money. And then because I contributed so much, I'm able to
Ask
say,
for
hey,
favors.
yeah, just remember me, or I've got some ideas on that. Don't worry, we'll talk about that soon. We literally have a political system where it's pay to play. It is
Oh yeah,
100%. It is pay to play. That's right. Pay me, right? Come on.
exactly.
And that's definitely the problem. Joe asked if anyone's longs are getting liquidated. No, I don't think so, Joe. Let me look real quick. No.
I
I
don't think
mean,
we're having any massive liquidations just for the
yeah,
simple
no,
fact
no,
that we
not
haven't
like
had a
that. I would have had
massive
to put a
drop or anything.
pretty. I would have had to put. So I did put a stop in, but my stop's all the way down to like 3,500, and then I did a take profit on this one at 4,500. So there's some change on there, but about 4,500, about
Well, it looks like
3,500.
when the markets are actually moving up right now, I think Bitcoin
Well,
just crossed back over 51.
no,
Dude, oh, what the? I literally refresh. Yeah, I'm literally refreshing Coin Market Cap
nah,
right now.
it's
It's
your
showing,
coin market cap's messing with you.
dude. Look, I'm gonna share my screen
I'm looking
because
at. I'm. No, I believe you, but I'm looking at it right now. It's not. It's not.
I literally hit
See it?
refresh. Boom,
Yeah, I
51.
know it does that sometimes. Hit it again, refresh it again. It's because I know for a fact that's wrong. Um, it is
Coin Market Cap
messing
is playing
with
games with me,
you.
man.
Yeah, dude,
Playing
it
games
does
with me.
that. It does that time to time. But yeah, so Crypto Santa Claus said, everything's for sale. It's only a matter of price. That is absolutely a fact. Let me look at this. Let me see what Gareth said here. Hold on a second. Let's take a couple. If there's any super chats or any chats, we're going to jump into those right now. 2022 BTC 330K as a safety asset. Fed Reserve will fail raising rates as hoped to leading to rampant inflation. XRP, XLM, and Algo.
Yeah, dude, that's what I was talking about last night. That's what I was talking about last night on the live. Basically, that would be create the perfect storm from the Federal Reserve if they fail to raise the rates or they get delayed or whatever happens. It's going to start causing a more hyperinflation, right? More level of inflation or so. We've already seen the official numbers are like 6.2%, but the unofficial numbers are a lot higher than that, right? And those unofficial numbers are more realistic than the official numbers. So imagine this escalating, continuing to escalate into 2022. People could start actually fleeing into Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, long term, that's the hope anyway. The reality is, some of
No, I
you
mean
might.
like within next year, as in 330 for next year.
I am all listen. I'm here for it, right? That's one of the sayings that I've heard recently, right? I'm here for it. I am absolutely. I just think that, excuse me. I think that there needs to be the realization by the big players that, hey, this is like we really do need a spot ETF. We need some of that legacy financial system to truly not just dip their toes in with the futures, right? But
Yeah.
actually say, hey, listen, this is an asset that you can be involved in. They know, the institutions know at this point where it's headed. I think partially, Miguel, and this is a personal opinion, I think that part of the reason that they're not right now is because it has performed so much better than everything else, like exponentially,
Dude.
that I think it drives people a little bit away from some of their, safer assets. The
Yep.
reality is Bitcoin might be volatile, but if you look year over year over year, or market over market, you know what I mean, or run over run over run, it has been the best performing asset in just the crypto markets in general. The solid projects have been the best performing assets. Period. End of
Yeah,
discussion.
I think we're still up like 90 something percent on Bitcoin even after this drop from 69. We're still up like 90% year to date or something like that. Crazy amounts, right? Things you will never see in the stock market. We've had confirmation from institutions talking about they're trying to get their clients to go 4 to 6% into crypto by 2026. So it's
Yeah,
coming.
that'd be
I saw
huge.
this comment here.
Yeah, what is
Uh,
this? You're a
so
brave
BAT,
you're a
yeah.
brave user.
So I'm a Brave user. BAT is the basic attention token,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they allow you to give you content creators BAT tokens. We do need
okay.
to set that up. We have not set that up yet.
Okay.
But we definitely will, and then people can literally just donate
So
back
it's
tokens.
like it's like our super chats, except for we get it in basic attention token.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So who asked that? WV
Uh,
Willis. So Willis,
yeah.
we've got super chats open and super stickers or whatever. But we definitely need to do that because we support the crypto space. You guys know that. Obviously, that's why you're here, right? So how low can we go, boys? Bryson wants to know. Miguel, thoughts, and then I'll tell you where I
uh,
think.
so honestly, I don't see us going down to 42 again. I think the lowest we're probably gonna go is maybe somewhere in this 47 to 46K range, and then we're gonna start seeing a bounce back up. Maybe jump back into the 50s again. Break 52, jump into 56, probably come back down again after that at some point before really starting to take off.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the tip of we might see 45, 44, just from a standpoint that people are getting, nervous about the fact that we're down 7.5%. I don't see ETH going lower than I really don't see it getting down to 3,500, but I guess somewhere around there. The reality is we are at the end of the month. We
Yep.
are at the end of the month and end of the year. So there's a big options expiry. You have to realize that that's just a fact of life. And we've got people basically tax harvesting to end the year out and taking some losses on purpose to then buy right back in because there's no wash rule in
Yep.
crypto.
I
So
think this is the last year for that too. So they're
yeah,
definitely going to take advantage of
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. Yeah. You will not be able um, to do the tax harvesting. You're not going to be able to wash trade, which ultimately, if you don't know what that is, wash trading is
Dude,
selling an asset at a loss and then buying right back in immediately. In the stock market, you have to wait 30 days. So it's a full month
yep.
before to actually. Now you could buy it. You could buy right back in, but it would not be considered a realized loss in the stock market. But in the crypto space right now, and again, like Miguel said, this will be the last year. It absolutely is a
Yeah.
realized
I wish
loss.
I wasn't such a great investor and I could actually take some losses, but I can't, even if I
Yeah,
wanted to.
I know, right? It's a terrible thing. I don't have losses to take. I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. It's just hard being here. Let me see how far back here I can. Yep. Okay. All right. Got patting my own back here. That's great.
And with that being said, if you want to be as great as us, join the Debate Crypto Academy, right?
It's
I mean,
simple. Great segue.
we're
I
better
love
going
it.
to get education than that.
I love it. Yeah, we've got Debate Crypto Academy, guys. It's debatecrypto.academy, where we ultimately are doing a couple different things. But the main thing that we're doing is educating so that you can make better decisions, right? Education, 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 so you can make better decisions. We just recently teamed up with Crypto Jebb. So we are ultimately starting to teach some trading as well, which is a change from what we had been doing. We had kind of stayed away from that a little bit for a while, and the people are asking for it. So if you're looking to get involved with two dudes that would literally give you the shirt off their back, we're right here. So we'd love to have you. So at any point, crypto fan, at any point, I don't even think that's a word, but at any event was the word I was looking for. Crypto fam, if you haven't smashed the like yet, make sure you do that before you exit out of here. We appreciate each and every one of you. If nobody's told you before today, we love you. And until